And it's the Lion King here, and it's time for your final Tier 3 race of 2022. Tonight we will frequent the Jeddah Corniche circuit in Saudi Arabia, the place known best for its political correctness and equal rights. The Jeddah Corniche circuit is a temporary street circuit. It covers 3.836 miles and is made up of 27 corners. Well, that's about 7 corners and 20 kinks. It was designed by Karsten Tilk and was first opened in 2021. The drivers will need to strap on their big boy panties tonight, as this is a very high-speed circuit with walls in close proximity. It's certainly not for the faint-hearted. So, joining me in the very hidden bomb-proof combat box this evening is someone I am very excited to team with for the first time. He is the man who started it all, the founder, Mother Superior, the man who likes to make the hills come alive. No, it's not Baron Van Trapp. It's, of course, my teammate. Please stand and salute for the one, the only, Mr. Martin Hills. Good evening.
Hello there, Marky Poos.
Good evening. How are you?
Overwhelmed with that stunning selection of words you just diarrheaed out of your face. That was definitely, without a doubt, an awful lot of speaking which just happened. Hugely incorrect in so many ways, but hey.
Well, we had to try and be nice.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you are. I mean, I have heard people say that you are really trying.
Yeah, clearly not trying hard enough in my races at the moment, though.
Usually patience, to be honest with you. But hey, I think we've both had a pretty a tough run of luck, not a rough ton of luck. A tough run of luck recently.
We've certainly had something this season.
I think this was our first week as the Ferrari Tier 2 team to not score any points at all.
Yeah, I believe you might be right there. We really haven't had a good one.
No. Yeah, apparently there's like walls and stuff all over the place here, and like if you get close to them, inexplicably bits of your car go flying off. And then you're kind of stuck, and you're kind of like, well, do I go and get those bits put back on again? Because in a minute they'll probably come back off again. Or do I just keep going and hope for the best? Which was kind of what I did, but that didn't really work with my extreme strategy that I decided to opt for. And yeah, definitely one to hugely forget. But that strategy, I still say, would have worked. I still reckon it was good. Because I was looking at the soft, medium.
Yeah, I reckon that would have worked around here, because the hards are awful, to be fair. It's just no grip
absolutely. On them. They're horrific. And yeah, I mean, and also the warm up here seems to take forever as well. So I was just thinking to myself, do you know what? I'm just going to go for fast tyres that warm up quickly. And but it all kind of went horribly wrong for both of us, unfortunately, with multiple pit stops and removed front wings and all sorts of delightful stuff like that. But anyway, should we stop moaning about our rubbishness as drivers in another tier and talk about the excellence of the drivers in this one instead? Speaking of rubbish drivers, look, Gavin's gone fastest.
He certainly has. Everybody's just been treated to a lap of the Jeddah with him. Let's see what else we've got coming round. I think Rob Smith's at the final corner. Let's see what he could do with the triangle. We've got provisional pole. But as you'll know yourself, the track really ramps up here, so probably knock a good second or so off them times yet.
Yeah, they're going to tumble down into the 129s very quickly.
Speaking of which, Kaiser Soze 30.3.
That's not bad for a banker, is it? It's going to be interesting to see. Yeah, I think it's certainly a track where in qualifying you can car setup here is a weird thing. It seems to be you can either make it fast over one lap and not so good in the race, or you can make it so it's really quite fast in the race, but it's really compromised in qualifying. So it's going to be interesting to see which way people go, I think.
Yeah, I think I went the wrong way. I was pretty fast in a straight line, but useless in the race. I was just hoping straight line speed would be able to hold people off.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it depends whether you end up on your own without somebody to get DRS off of. If you are in DRS for large chunks of your race, you're probably okay with having a compromised top speed, but it's obviously such a long track with such long DRS zones that if you've got like a setup that's quick and good on its tyres because it's got a bit more downforce on it, if you end up without somebody to follow, you're actually going to be bleeding time quite a lot of the time because you just haven't got the straight line speed.
Yeah, that's your problem. But because of obviously most of the corners here are kinks, you can get away with a lower downforce and carry that top speed.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I can't actually remember what it was I was running, but it was kind of somewhere in the middle. It was slightly compromised on grip, but not massively. But that was also helping with tyre wear as well because the car wasn't sliding so much, I guess. But so, who's going to be the first one to duck into a 129? Because we've got Palang here, who was very quick the other night, wasn't he?
I'm just
in
on
qualify.
Ghost Rider, who's coming out the last corner. So we'll see what he gets, and then we'll jump to Palang. Evening, Hodgie. There we go, 29.7 for Ghost Rider.
That's pretty good as a first lap as well, isn't it?
Palang's invalidated, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, he's got the... obviously, anybody who's raced in a race previously in the week gets a little bit of an advantage because they've basically had an extra hour of practice that the others haven't had. And also, more importantly, you get that extra knowledge of how the tyres come in and how long they're going to last. And, there's so many things that you feel more educated about, which is why we always say that from a reserving perspective, if you're a Tier 4 driver who's going to race in a minute, reserving in Tier 3 is a very, very good idea because you will be so ready to race your own tier by the time you get there. It's quite a benefit, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, speaking of substitutes, we've got to give a shout out to Gibbon. I think he's raced every tier this week. A Tier 4 driver who stepped up to Tier 1.
Yeah, he has, hasn't he? Yeah, because he's a Tier 1. He did really well as well, didn't he?
Yeah, to say he doesn't normally run with no traction, I think he did really well.
Yeah.
Better than I'd probably
absolutely.
manage.
I'm not sure I would have finished, to be honest with you.
Not sure I would either, even though I practiced with no traction.
Yeah, I'm working on it, but...
It's consistency.
Yeah, I can be consistently slow, or I can be hitting a wall like Jam just has, coming out of the final corner. Now he's spun in the wrong direction. He's facing the wrong way down the track, and now he's reversing and hitting the wall. He's stuck in a 3-point turn between the walls coming out of the final corner, unfortunately.
Oh, that's never a good place to do that.
No. Oh, that's another impact to the rear wing. Oh.
I wonder if he thinks he's Max Verstappen.
Oh, and now he can't get it facing the right. Oh, dearie me. Not to take the mickey out of you, Jam. Sorry about that, mate. Do apologise.
Speaking of taking the mickey, let's see what Gav's doing. I don't actually think he's on a fast lap. He seems to be massively down. So
well, that could be a fast lap by his standards,
Andy's probably listening to us as well, so be cursing us now.
Well, he's cruising along there in his barber shop. He's ready to be coiffured to excellence on his next lap.
Geke's got no front wing, so I'm guessing he's had a bit of a meeting with a wall.
Gavin, I don't know who Gavin is. He's doing little swervies, so I'm guessing he's listening as he goes into the pits.
Let's watch Gibbon. I think he's one of the only ones on a full lap at the moment.
I think Melvin might be as well.
Gav's just popped up in YouTube. Hills is getting it.
Well, is that a threat or a promise, Mr. Scottish individual? God, that was a raging insult, wasn't it? You Scottish individual.
We've got to be careful and keep it PG, though. We are live on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't want to know what it is, but fine.
It's only Gav that seems to be able to get away with what we can only describe as politically incorrect comms.
I'm not entirely convinced he gets away with it, but okay.
Well, we haven't been banned yet.
I think he thinks he gets away with it. That's the difference.
That's probably true.
He's willing it into existence.
Go have a look at Kaiser Soze. He seems to be one who's fairly quick this season, and he's in the hunt for the Challenger tier title as well. Can't remember where he is on the standings.
Oh,
I
think we may have had an incident there, because there seems to be a very slow-moving Red Bull and a very slow-moving Williams in the same place on the track.
Oh dear. Do we know who it... It must be Gibbon.
It's CBG and...
Must be Gibbon. I'm sure the other one's actually retired.
Oh, or are they just trying to get track position? I can't quite work out what's happening. Very strange activities happening here.
It is a big nightmare for track position, because it's typical street circuit. There's not many places to get out of the way, so somebody tries to get out of the way and it actually distracts you. But it's not always their fault, because they are moving. It's just because they're there and there's such a narrow gap, you kind of panic and get distracted.
Yeah, and it's also a lot of the corners are kind of slightly blind. So if you're cruising back in or heading out for a fast lap, it's very, very easy to find yourself in the wrong place and sort of be taken by surprise. You know, even if you've got absolutely no intention of blocking anybody and you're desperately looking in your rearview mirrors, it's still really easy for somebody to leap out of nowhere and sort of plunge into your gearbox if you're not careful.
Oh, it's an absolute nightmare. I mean, remember the real drivers saying that when they first went here in 2021, so they modified the track slightly for 22, and apparently they're modifying it again for next year because there's just so many blind spots.
The best way they could modify it would be to move it to a different country on a different track.
I would wholeheartedly agree with that, to be fair. I despise this track anyway.
Yeah, maybe somewhere where you're less likely to get, you know, I don't know, missile attacks during the race. But hey, that's a crazy idea.
Wasn't there actually an issue with that?
Yeah.
This season when they were there?
Yeah. But no one really seemed to be all that fussed about it. Because, oh, hang on, is there an awful lot of money coming from companies that are based in Saudi Arabia into Formula One?
Oh, they do say money talks.
They do, but apparently people who disagree with the government do not, because they will be rapidly silenced. Anyway, stop that.
Yeah, we need to behave. Speaking of which, Rob Smith seemed to be quite up at the end of Sector 2, so we'll see what he can pull off as it comes to the line. Hopefully
I don't know what...
Didn't lose too much for that AlphaTauri coming out of the last corner.
Yeah, I'm on board with the AlphaTauri, which is Jam again. I don't know whether Jam is experimenting with no traction and is trying to get it going, because he's spinning a lot. There he goes again. Oh dear. I
do think he might actually be experimenting, like you say.
Yeah,
because that's a very weird place to lose traction there.
Yeah, he's lost it quite a few times now. So I mean, good on you for trying. But it is maybe in the race isn't the best place to experiment. He's still in the same place and hasn't got going again yet. But I'm going to move away from him now. I mean, it just seems like I'm being mean.
I don't know if you find it, especially that corner. Once you sort of get yourself straight, hit about third gear, and you can just hit the power fully.
Yeah,
that's why I think he is experimenting with the no traction.
Yeah, I mean it's probably a track that's not too bad for.
It isn't too bad overall. Actually. To be fair, I was practicing with it and almost raced like it.
I mean, I guess probably the hardest one is the far end banked hairpin, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a little bit tricky. I think you have to do it in about fifth gear.
Because that gets squirrely on medium traction, let alone no traction. So, yeah.
It's all a learning curve. See what Baldy can do. He was definitely up at the end of Sector 2. I think he might have run out of ERS, though. His light's going crazy.
Yeah, I'm just having a fish around. I'll tell you who is going quicker is Melvin. Oh, and he's just massively cut the corner and invalidated. So, yeah, so I'm just going to stop talking. Who is actually doing something? Gavin is currently travelling at 60 kilometres an hour, so he's probably terrified.
Ghost Rider's finishing a 6-minute lap.
Excellent. A 6-minute lap. Did he stop? Did he stop to buy a packet of fags and a can of Fanta?
I think he did something, because that was 6 minutes 31 seconds.
That could be a new record.
Incidentally, probably still quicker than Gav.
Yeah.
And definitely quicker than me.
I'm just looking to see. I can't find anybody who's actually on a lap at the moment. Oh, is CBG on a lap? Seems to be that CBG is on a lap.
Gav's invalidated. Da convertible potentially on one as well. We'll go for CBG. He is the lead Williams out of the two.
Oh, he's gone very deep into the chicane before the back straight.
Oh, I hate that chicane. If I don't drive the track for a couple of days, I forget it's there and just go straight on into the wall.
Do you sometimes find he's done it at the second chicane as well, unfortunately. It's a funny track. I find sometimes, you get that thing where you're driving somewhere in real life, and you get to where you're going, and you're like, I don't remember where I've been.
Yeah.
I don't remember stopping at any traffic lights along that road, that sort of thing. I get that here.
It takes me about 20 laps to get anywhere on this one.
Well, I'll be driving along, and I'll suddenly go, oh, where am I? I don't know where I am. And then there'll be a chicane or something, and I'll drive into a wall because I've actually just genuinely lost track of what part of the circuit I'm on.
I did it in practice. I'd done about 10 laps. All of a sudden I forgot where I was going and went straight on at that chicane, straight into the wall.
Yeah, that's probably pretty much what I'm talking about, I think.
After I'd had a snigger to myself the lap before because somebody else did it. And then I went and did it the lap after. I'm like, oh, good job nobody could hear me.
Kaiser Soze's about to come round to complete a lap.
29.7. It's getting tight up at the top. Ghost Rider and Kaiser Soze are separated by 1,000. Neil's coming back out for another go. Rob Smith's coming back out. It's whether they can all make the line, though, that's the question.
Yeah.
They've only got about 30 seconds in which to do it.
And also, it's the sort of track where people make mistakes in front of you and then buggy your lap anyway. Baldy's just crossing the line to... he's just gone 0.8 quicker.
I think he's just starting a lap.
How is that possible? The timing is not working correctly, I think. It showed that previous lap as being 0.8 quicker than his best, so...
Weird. Because he definitely hasn't moved anywhere.
No.
0.8 quicker would have put him...
Yeah.
Above Rob Smith. There's that much of a gap between third and fourth. It's nearly a second there.
Yeah, that is a big distance.
It's like the top guys have been borrowed from Tier 1. And everybody else is just plodding along. I'm guessing it just proves how many people do not like this track.
I think it's
Rob's
one of
had
those
a crash.
Oh dear, so he's not going to be improving?
I bet it looks like he's gone on the exit of the chicane end at first sector, which is very easy to do if you hit that curb wrong.
Jackster's about to cross the line.
What's Jackster going to do?
He's come up to 7th.
130.9, it's a good lap. That's a Tier 4 driver stepping up as well, I believe. So he might be having some issues with change of assist restrictions. And
Palang is currently coming round to finish his lap. He was 0.8 up in Sector 2.
Baldy's bailed. Let's see what Palang does. 131.1, yeah, 0.8 quicker, goes up to 8th. And I think Gav's on a snail lap.
Yeah, I think he aborted. I was on board with him a little while ago and he seemed to sort of suddenly pull over and chill his beans at the side of the track. So I think...
And Neil's invalidated, so there we go. That is our grid for the final race of 2022.
It sounds a bit weird saying that, doesn't it?
It really does. The last...
Well, for Tier 3 race, obviously we've got a couple of races left before the year finishes.
We've
got 3.
It's midway through the season, but...
It's Christmas.
because of obviously Christmas, we take a week off. It's the last race of this tier. Tier 1 and 2 have already had theirs. But like you said, we've got Tier 4 to go, MRCX to go, and Gav's special Santa Sack race next week.
Yes, I believe his Santa Sack is bulging, from what he's told me.
Don't think we need to elaborate on that one anymore.
I hear it was absolutely bloated with festive joy, is what he told me.
Lovely. So there we go. With grid, we've got Neil on pole, Ghost Rider in second, Kaiser Soze third, Rob Smith fourth, Baldy fifth, Gav sixth, Jackster seventh, Palang eighth, Melvin ninth, Da Convertible 10th. Into the bottom half, we've got Boothie in 11th, Gibbon in 12th, the Genie in 13th, Geki in 14th, Sambal in 15th, Era Voice 16th, Jenskit 17th, Calvin 18th, Jam 19th, and Red Car Rambo is starting P20 like he wished. Gibbons just popped up in the YouTube saying his plan for this week is to race all of the 5 races. Good luck to you.
Well, that's of all the circuits to choose to race all 5 races on it. I could probably get him booked in at some kind of facility where they could treat him for something. Because that doesn't sound like someone speaking in their right mind to me. I'm sorry.
It doesn't to me either. I guess we'll have to Google Polish facilities.
Now, here's a little talking point. Every time they showed this pit image, right? Can you see this bloke up on the balcony doing like weird fist bumps?
I could see loads of blokes doing really weird stuff.
Just above the H of the second to right DHL.
Yeah, there's one further down doing the same thing.
It's like, it really annoys me. I want to slap him. I want to code myself in there and give him a coded slap across his coded face. He's got a bald spot. Look at that. He's got a bald spot coded on top of his coded head. But he needs to stop doing. Stop it. Stop
Too
it.
much attention
Weird.
to detail there.
Oh dear.
But most importantly, are his eyes the right colour?
Maybe, or maybe he's got. Yeah, it's one of those things they'd probably change.
Would it Kevin Magnussen that got his eye colour wrong? Not that people really noticed.
No, I don't think anybody. I think people tended to notice things like drivers that didn't have helmets, or cars going around that didn't have wheels on, and those sorts of things. Those were probably more noticeable.
We still get that now. I was in a lobby the other night, and the car is literally invisible. There's 4 wheels and a dude sat in the middle holding a steering wheel.
It's because it's a special new transparent carbon fibre they've developed.
Bugmasters at their best. So let's have a look at the tyres. We've got Neil on hards, Gav on hards, Da Convertible hard, Boothie hard, Calvin hard, Ryan hard, and everybody else is on mediums. No soft runners this race. Nobody going for your brave strategy.
Or maybe it was a foolish strategy. Who knows?
Not me, because I think I finished P19.
Yeah, well, I tried hard to kind of finish further down. Yeah, oh dear, don't even start me off. I'm just going to start crying. I don't know if you saw earlier on. I actually ended up nearly being in this race until I remembered I was on commentary, and I managed to get out of it as an excuse. I was like, "Oh yes, I don't have to volunteer to help out."
Well, they were giving you your favourite car, weren't they?
The dog dragging its ass across the floor.
Yes, that one.
Yeah. Okay.
I know how much you love that car.
I do. I love cars that look like animals having a poop, and yeah, that's definitely one of them. But speaking of which, what I was just looking at was the Aston and thinking the Aston for some reason at this particular track looks particularly shiny. I mean, I know it does underneath lights generally speaking, but there's something about this one that's making it super glowy. It looks very sexy.
It does look good, I must admit. It's one of them cars that really works well in the dark, lit up tracks. It's probably my favourite for that, actually. It's not my favourite car overall, but I think under the lights it looks the best.
Yeah, I know. I would agree with that. And of course, your favourite car is obviously the Williams, right?
Yeah, of course. As long as I don't have to
Anyway,
drive it.
We're all on the grid.
Couple of disqualified who missed the grid boxes, but yeah. There we go. 3, 4, 5 red lights. Give me a better camera angle. Because they're away. Neil's having a bit of a wheel spin start, but he's away well. Rob Smith's jumped him into turn 1. Neil outbraked himself. He's dropping like an absolute stone at the moment. Had to go right over the runoff. Everybody else seems to have got away cleanly, but we've got Rob Smith leading, Baldy second, Gav's up to third. He's had a cracking start.
I did see some bits of wing at the back, unfortunately, but I don't think anybody
Red
had
Cat Rambo's out.
Maybe it was his wing that I saw.
Looks like he's had a...
Oh, no, Jensky is also recovering to track as well. I wouldn't be surprised if those two have had a coming together if...
No, neither would I. We seem to have a virtual safety car at the moment.
Jensky seems to be was driving away from the area in which Ryan was retired.
And he's also missing an end plate off his front wing.
He is, but like I say, someone lost an end plate on the start as well, just going into turn one. Before they even got to turn 1, I saw an end plate go flying, so...
Jam's got no front wing full stop. I think Gibbon might be missing an end plate.
So, that's interesting. So we missed something significant there, because obviously we watched them all get away cleanly, and then suddenly, before you know it, it's not clean at all. But there we go. But it's all being dealt with under a VSC rather than a full safety car, because obviously we're all still packed together.
Definitely some carnage at the back, though. I wonder if that'll pop up in stewarding reports. And there we go, we've gone green again. Can Rob Smith get the jump? That's the problem with the virtual safety car restarts. Depending on where you are on track, people can really gain on you. But he seems to have handled that quite well.
It depends how close you can stick to the delta, and if the person in front of you isn't sticking to the delta and they're way below it, it messes you up as well, which isn't very fair.
Yeah, it's one of them, because you never actually know either when it says virtual's ending how long that ending is going to take. So you could have a couple of seconds in hand on your delta, and by the time it goes green you can be in the red.
You can, yeah, you can. It's better to play safe than sorry. So we've got obviously Neil is the huge loser at the start here.
It's down to 9th.
Yeah,
he's had a moment. He's just recovering to track with no end plate, so that'll be another pit stop needed.
And Gibbons obviously unfortunately down 7 places as well, so those guys have lost out the greatest amount at the start, whereas Calvin is up 6 spots, which I guess is due to the carnage that's happened further back. Although Era Voice hasn't gone as far forward as I would have expected him to, sort of out the gate, because he's on the medium tyre, and we know how quick he is as well.
Yeah, he was absolutely rapid in Tier 2. We're leaving us all standing.
He's wearing a worryingly sort of flesh-coloured helmet, which is a bit disturbing, to be honest with you.
Well, let's have a quick look at this. Yeah, it's unusual.
It's sort of like dirty pink.
It could be worse.
Not much. So anyway,
Jeds gets out. He's had a bit of an issue at the last corner. Is that going to trigger? We've got a big gap back to. We've got some form of safety car. I believe it's virtual.
Yeah, there's nothing coming out of the pit lane, so it seems like it's staying clear for the moment. Interestingly, Rob Smith and Baldy have pulled away quite a bit at the front. Over those first 3 laps, they've pulled out, a second a lap pretty much.
Yeah, they're both on mediums though. Gav's on hards, so I would expect a bit of a delta difference there.
Yeah, I mean those hards are.
If Gav can sit and cling on, then I think he's in a really good position at the moment. Hopefully he doesn't do anything silly with his throttle though.
The thing is, they don't go that much further.
No, they don't really.
Which was the other reason for my soft medium strategy the other night. Was I was finding that the hards were only doing a handful more laps. Really, it's not like you were getting a massive distance advantage from them. But
there we go. We've gone green again, and Jam's now retired.
So where's he gone?
He's lost it in the
gone-
first sector
He has.
between the two chicanes.
Yeah, in that really horrible double apex right-hander.
That's really easy to lose it in there.
And again, still no safety car coming out for that one either, as much as we're wishing it to happen.
Has Gav
No,
fixed
I'm
the
not
safety cars here?
Yeah, he's switched them off. Well, hopefully so, because otherwise we might have to sit through one of his stupid safety car restarts.
It's alright, it's not leading. It's fine.
Well,
We don't get a 10 mile an hour
inevitably-
restart.
Oh. That's a sound of genuine disgust in my voice.
Believe me, they are painful.
Oh, I know. I have.
Oh!
I think we both just saw the same thing at the same point.
Yeah, I wonder if that was a little bit of a coming together, but Gav seemed to be a bit slow into the sector. I'm sure we'll find out afterwards because he'll let us know what definitely happened there. Hey Connor, nice of you to join us.
Yeah, he's not got any visible damage that I can see.
Kaiser's
So
just let him pass, so I do wonder if he did clip him.
There was definitely contact. I was riding behind with Rob at the time when that happened.
Fair play to him for giving the position back, though.
Yeah, though maybe Gavin has got some damage that we can't see because he looks like he's struggling in corners.
Melvin's retired.
Melvin.
I think that's
he's
the
gone-
chicane where
he's-
we said about going straight on, and we've got a full safety.
And a safety car. Yes.
A full one this time.
Yeah, I mean that's now the pack's a bit more spread out. Unfortunately, it's always going to trigger one if you get a retirement at the moment. So yeah,
Yeah,
it
he's
does
gone
look
at
like
that
he's-
chicane.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's sort of in the middle of the track. Although the marshals have made quick work of that, they've cleared it, so no red flag needed. If only the real marshals could work that quick.
Well, this isn't boding terribly well because we've got a 25 lap race and we've lost a car per lap so far. So by the end of the race, at this rate, we'll actually be down 5 cars. Well, I don't know how that works. Maybe 5 have to be towed round backwards or something on the backs of trucks.
Possibly.
Yeah, yes. Well, let's try to keep going. We've suddenly got a flurry of people in the pits here as well. So Gav has pitted. He's got off those horrible HUDs.
Yeah, god awful things.
Rob has pitted as well, I think, and Jackster, I think, was the other one. Maybe I'm misreading.
You see, that
But
was
there
quite lucky for me in a way. I started on the hards and I ended up with no front wing by the end of the first lap.
Well, you say
So
lucky.
bonus.
It's
Mediums.
It's a funny kind of luck. It's kind of like type 2 luck, isn't it? Really.
Yeah. Small
'Cause this is kind of
blessings
a
in
type-
painful situations.
Well, I was going to say it's kind of a type 2 fun race as well, isn't it? Really.
I'm not sure fun and Jeddah go in the same sentence.
Well, that's what I mean. Type 2 fun, as in it's not really something you're enjoying. It's just something that you're doing, and you get some satisfaction from having got it out of the way afterwards. So now we've got some sudden big gains, haven't we? Because of retirements and some pit stops there. Suddenly, Voice has sprung right up to 8th when he was in 15th when we were talking about him 2 laps ago.
Calvin's up to 5th, he's 13 positions up.
He is. That's pretty disgusting.
And Gav's swearing at me in the YouTube kind of. He's saying Jeddah is fun. It allows you to be wingless.
Yeah.
Well, you're not driving
so
a Red
of
Bull, so you are wingless.
Well, according to Hodgie, I woke up and chose violence. I'm not quite sure what that's in reference to.
I think it's when we were on about the bombs and everything earlier.
Well, that's just facts. Just actual, genuine facts on a worldwide basis. Anyway, sorry, don't get me started.
Wasn't planning to.
No,
I made me a few quips in the intro and I thought I'd leave it there.
Well, anywho, I imagine we're not that. I think we're going to be all caught back up by the end of the current lap.
Hopefully Gibbons about half a lap behind. That might be the only thing that holds it up slightly.
He's zeroing in pretty quickly, to be honest with you. He's in some long straights right now, isn't he? So he won't take a long time to catch back up.
Yeah,
I found the safety car was travelling quite quick here.
Yeah, it does seem to, because, like I said earlier, it's mostly kinks than corners, is this place?
Well, we do love kinks in MRC.
Kinks or kinky?
Same difference, mate. Anyway, so who is looking good at the moment? I mean, it's got to be said that the two guys out at the front there, with that, yeah, they're obviously still on mediums. So
I think Rob Smith might be as well, other than the fact he's now on hards. But it's essentially had a free pit stop and he's in 6th.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think Neil and Calvin, obviously they're on 5 lap old hards. So yeah, like you say, Rob Smith has managed to pit onto hards, but he's not going to get to the end on those. I wouldn't think anyway.
No, I wouldn't think so either.
I mean, they feel bad enough when they're fresh, let alone sort of when they're 20 laps old, which they would be. I think you're talking about roughly. I think they were doing maybe 15 before they started feeling pretty terrible.
I don't know. Maybe we should ask Calvin, because he seemed to be able to go from medium to softs in tier 2.
They didn't notice I was too busy bouncing off the scenery and swearing.
I only know because Hodgie was having quite a battle with him during the race, and obviously me and Hodgie party for tier 2.
Somehow
he started mediums and ended up going to softs for the end.
That's impressive. I did think about whether that might be possible, but yeah.
I wouldn't like the feeling of it, because I find once you got to 30-35% here, it was awful. There was just no grip.
I just noticed that Gibbon's actually on softs at the back. I hadn't spotted that before.
I think he's about to catch up though, so we should at least go racing this lap.
He is. Unfortunately, he's got maybe another 3 laps on those tyres, and they're going to be dead, and he's going to be back in the pits to get rid of them again. They felt. But then again, I was running with damaged front wing. So basically, I got tangled in someone else's incident early on, and unfortunately damaged the front wing on lap 1, and then basically toughed it out until the next pit stop, and then came out of that pit stop onto the mediums, and then immediately had the same thing happen again, and ended up doing another stint on a damaged front wing. So it wasn't until the 3rd stint that I actually got to drive with a complete front wing.
It's never fun.
No.
To be fair, I struggled to even get through the lap with a damaged front wing, so I think you did well.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where it doesn't show it on the stream, but it was, I was orange on my screen kind of thing.
You should have probably had an end plate missing then.
Oh, I don't know. Didn't notice, to be honest with you, but
maybe we were that far down they didn't bother looking at us.
Probably not.
Was not a good day for the Maranello boys.
No, which is a type of cherry, but
Although speaking of Maranello boys, they're almost bookending this race at the moment.
Yeah.
There we go. Safety cars in this lap.
Palang is seems a bit out of position, because he definitely had quite a lot of pace the other night. So I'm surprised
he's made
down
2
second
pit
to
stops
last.
so far.
Right, that would explain it.
So I think he's maybe had wing issues.
Yeah, expect to see him moving through the field.
I certainly do, because he was very, very rapid, like you say.
And I think Mr. Consistent Rob back there in 10th is probably a good shout for some kind of result at this rate as well, because he's on 2 lap old hards too.
There we go, they're on their way. He's not managed to catch Ghost Rider napping either, which he'll have been hoping to do, but here a voice has been caught napping. 1.2 seconds gap to DAC convertible.
Just as I said that about Gene Genie, he's just been passed by Gavin into turn 1.
Gav wants to make moves and just get on with it. What's the tyre difference though? See, Rob's on hards, Gav's on mediums, so
this is true. Yep, this is
pace
true.
wise he's going to want to get on with it, is Gav. Whereas Rob, if he looks after his tyres, can probably live till the end.
Oh, and he's making another move as well. Oh, gosh, that was aggressive from Gavin. Is making aggressive moves further down the pack. He just powered past Sambal into the hairpin, and now he's going around the outside
of Era Voice.
Of Era Voice. That's a hard one to make stick. I tried to pull that move on Carl the other night, and we bumped wheels and I ended up off the track. But he's
Cav's on a
he's
mission.
made it work. He may have got a warning for that because he was definitely out of track limits.
Palang's had another issue. He's just recovering from a spin.
Oh! Gavin's just spun. He's just...
he was getting silly with his throttle.
Oh dear.
Unfortunately, I don't think no traction on the controller's ideal.
Is that what he's trying to do?
He's been doing it since last season.
Okay.
Neil's just pitted.
Oh, I've just seen a bit of front wing go flying off of Williams back there.
So that's Sambal, who's now in the pit lane. Calvin's in the pit lane. Neil's in the pit lane. Have we had some collisions here that we don't know about?
Possibly. We've got corner cutting penalties popping up as well. I saw one for Palang just now as well.
The top three are all separated by less than a second. It's like esports. Have you ever watched them guys where they're like 3-4 tenths apart throughout the entire race?
Yeah, they are in a crocodile. They're in a
aliens. They are.
They're in a human caterpillar of F1 cars.
Pretty much. Absolute aliens, them guys. You could tell they spend 12-13 hours a day practicing.
For a minute, I thought you meant these three guys, but no, you mean the esports pros. I was thinking, Baldy and Ghost Rider and Kaiser Soze spending 13 hours a day practicing? That's some pretty determined work. Maybe they do.
If there were, I reckon they should be beating Kid Dynamite by now.
It's a pretty epic battle going on between those two boys at the front, though. They're getting very, very close to each other.
Yeah, Kaiser Soze's just dropped back a little bit. It's going to be very tasty when DRS comes in, but Ghost Rider, we're trying to go around the outside at the last corner there. That is
possible.
Move.
It's definitely possible. It also can give you a really good run down this straight as well, as he's just showing right now, in fact.
Connor's in the Night Shadow fan club. Are you the only member?
How much does it cost to join?
I think Gav pays you.
And what do you get? What do you get as a welcome gift? Is it a mug? And you find the mug by looking in a mirror?
Yeah, you get the mug and a picture of Gav spinning. He's so going to kill us after this.
Well, he gives it out. He can take it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, where are we in terms of how this race is panning out? So Ghost Rider and Baldy, so DRS is now activated, so we're coming round to the DRS zones. And Kaiser Soze's caught back up with them as well.
Yeah, he's hanging on the apron strings. He's not letting them get away.
No, and once it becomes flappy time, which it just has, that's going to help them both to. I suspect that they're going to both be all over Baldy's gearbox, aren't they?
Yeah, that zone they've just been through is not the one to do it on, but this one coming up might be.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I find this one a little bit difficult to overtake on as well. To be honest with you, it's more the start-finish straight is the place to make the move, really.
I think that's the one you want to be doing, because if you do it into that corner, they can end up getting the detection on you and having to fight back into turn one. Kaiser Soze's pitted, so he's out of the fight for now.
Well, he's going for the undercut, isn't he, I guess?
And Ghost Rider has no ERS, but it's just gone around the outside of Baldy into turn one, giving the inside nice. For two in a beautiful move.
That was very, very nicely executed. But now he's got the reverse problem, because the downside of leading at Jeddah is that if you've got anyone in close quarters behind you, unless you can drop them, they're going to be all over you. So he's got to get away. He is getting away as well, to be fair. He's opened up a second already.
He needs it, though. He's got like 14% ERS, which he's using. Baldy's got 36. Yeah,
Baldy wants to press that button a little bit and stay in that window, which he's on the fringe. Oh, he had a big moment out of turn 527 or whatever one that.
He seems to have held it. Yeah, I think he's trying to retain ERS as much as possible, but he might want to use it to be in the DRS zone at least.
And he's not. He's outside it, I think, isn't he? Or is he?
He's in it at the moment, but obviously he didn't get the activation at that point. But he might get it for the next one. I think he's just dropped out of it again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's kind of hovering around a second.
Oh no, he's got it.
Oh, he must have just got it.
Palang's out.
And where's he gone?
That chicane again. Just after
it. Just after. He's probably...
Another full safety car.
Yeah, he's probably pinballed off that exit wall on the right-hand side, hasn't he?
Something like that, yeah.
Or palangballed.
Yeah, just don't Google what a palang is.
Oh yeah, I was told not to do that the other day and I haven't done it yet. I'm going to do it right now and I'm going to tell everybody what it is unless it's really rude and vile. Cause,
it's pretty rude.
Okay, I'm not going to mention it then.
I'll let you decide whether you want to mention it or not once you realise what it is. It was put in one of the chats last night. That's the only reason I know what it is.
Okay. Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that it's a piercing.
It certainly is.
Must make it quite uncomfortable for him to sit in a race seat, but you know.
I think it'd make it uncomfortable for a while after you have it done.
You wouldn't want to have them. You wouldn't want to have those 4-point harnesses tightly strapped up with one of those, would you?
Definitely not. Oh, I'm cringing just thinking about that.
I think actually he's probably named himself after a brand of beds. That's what it is. A palang is a bed with an ornamented headboard. So there you go. That's what he is. He's an ornamented headboard.
Someone did say why he'd actually called himself Palang. Let's see if we can find it again.
If it's not because he's got an ornamented bed headboard, then I'm going to be disappointed.
No, I don't think it was that.
No, okay.
Apparently, he said to Gav that Palang means leopards.
Okay, so there is an international meaning to this word as well.
Apparently. And then there's Gav's meaning for it.
Okay. It means long in Hindi.
Okay.
There's a lot. Do you know what? It's one of those words that means something in a lot of different languages. It can also mean crossbar. It can be a type of girder. It can be show jumping.
Apparently, it's an Iranian saying for bimbo.
Well, there you go then. So, trust Gavin to zero in on the only rude definition when there seems to literally, I can't think of many words I've ever looked up that seem to mean something in so many different languages, and he chooses that one. What is this saying about him? This is a condemnation of Gavin's mind.
It's a condemnation of his search history.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, I mean, his first suggestion is obviously, going to be, probably, yeah, I don't know. He probably just knew, actually.
He probably did and just Googled it for the picture to send to us.
Yeah, he probably didn't even actually need to Google it to know that definition. That's my supposition.
I think I'm going to concur with you on that one, because it is Gav.
Yeah.
I mean, his search history would... It doesn't just need cleaning, it needs fumigating.
Well, yes. So triple DD in the chat is also saying that Palang means leopards, but it's an awful lot of things in an awful lot of languages. I quite like the Hindi word for long. That's quite good. You could... So if you took different meanings from different languages, you could have a Palang Palang. Or you could have a Palang with a Palang Palang. That would be mixing three languages together, but hey, okay.
Yeah. Where are we? I reckon we're going to have safety car in this lap.
Is Triple D Palang?
I'm guessing it might be.
Because he says, "Why y'all hanging on to my gamer tag?" Safety car coming in. Now, Ghost Rider is looking in a pretty good spot, and so is Kaiser Soze. Those guys have both got new hards. The ability to finish the race on those tyres. No one in front of them can. So we've the three guys who, so Kaiser Soze's undercut worked out for him as well.
It could do, yeah, if he can hold it together on the tyres he's got.
Well, it's given him track position because we saw him pit in, didn't we? And it's actually ended up with him leading those three rather than being the last of them.
DAC convertibles all over Rob Smith's gearbox going into turn one. He's going up the inside. He's going to make it stick.
Oh,
they
3
both
seconds,
go off track. Both
See, look,
3
I just
seconds.
predicted it before it even came up on the screen. We know all about that one this week, don't we?
Yeah, we know all about that one from the real racing as well. 'Cause didn't Max Verstappen get penalised for doing that?
Yeah, he did, I think, didn't he?
2021.
Yeah, that was the first Michael Massey incident, wasn't it? It was Massey messed around with the grid. Do you remember?
Yeah, when they'd red flagged it, they were like, well, he could start at so-and-so or pass this on to the stewards.
Yeah, and that one probably in its own right could have cost him his job because he sort of started some kind of weird bartering process for who gets where on the grid. It's like, what is happening?
That was clearly a sign of things to come.
Ooh, Kaiser Soze just took a glancing blow off the wall.
Hopefully no damage.
Didn't look to be, looked like it was rear wheel.
He's running well at the moment. And like you say, the ones ahead of him are probably going to have to pit again.
Oh, that's a very bold move he just made on Boothie there. Has Boothie picked up some damage because he's suddenly losing places and he's all over the shop?
Ghost Rider's about to put a move on Kaiser Soze as well.
With 3 abreast into the final corner. Oof.
Well done, boys. Well done.
Piece. Yep, that was good.
Boothie stayed out.
He's not.
We've got Boothie, Baldy and Kaiser Soze are all battling it out. It's like Kaiser Soze is giving him the position back.
Oh, there's a dive happening. Oh!
Jackster came flying in. Unfortunately, Boothie's been spun from it.
Didn't look like an intentional one. It looked like a missing the brakes kind of situation. But intentional or not, that's still not good for anybody. Calvin is driving around with no front wing at the moment as well.
I wonder if he's been caught up in something as well. I'm sure we'll find out afterwards, though, when it hits the stewarding reports.
Yeah, he's unfortunately looks like he's in a bit of bother at the moment, but still lots of fighting happening down around the 5th, 6th position.
Let's go back up to them. Yeah, because Jackster's not letting Kaiser Soze get away, which is going to be quite tasty when DRS kicks in.
And who was it who was spun by that incident? Was it Iravoice?
Boothie.
It was Boothie, wasn't it? Yeah, it was the other Haas.
Yeah, because it looked like Kaiser Soze had just let him pass and maybe shoved him off road or something. Seems to be quite fair for that. If he causes an issue, he gives it back.
Because Kaiser Soze suddenly slipped from 3rd down to 5th. He's now behind Ghost Rider and Baldy.
Yeah, because Jackster were looking up the inside of him, and I think, like you say, he's probably missed his braking point a little bit.
Oh, he was too busy looking at the the impact rather than the other impact.
Neil's just stuck a move on the era voice going into the final corner. It was quite a nice tidy one up the inside.
Yeah,
he's racing line on in this tier because DAC Convertible's leading it. Oh, Rob Smith's just lost his front wing on the back of DAC Convertible. Looks like a slight misjudgment going into the first chicane. That's going to cost
really
him
unfortunate
badly because he's got 3/4 of a lap to do.
And yep, he's getting passed by everybody. Obviously, he's going to be at the back, isn't he? By the time that's fixed, basically.
Yeah, that's not good. Hopefully, it doesn't cause DAC Convertible a puncture either. Doesn't seem to happen often in this game though. Whereas in reality, that could have caused a puncture.
Yeah, I mean, puncture is tyre wear related, isn't it? In this game.
Yeah, and it's normally about 70% onwards.
Yeah, well, we did see it last week, didn't we? Tier 1. I think it was Tier 1?
We did have one in Tier 1. I think somebody had ended up on the wrong tyres, kept pushing, and they ended up puncturing.
I can't remember who it was, but I've got a vague feeling it was the race leader, wasn't it, at the time, on a set of softs, trying to push them to the end.
So. I can't remember
Just
who it was.
Just a couple of laps before the end, they gave up and he was in the pits.
Honestly, can't remember who it was. It might have been someone like Jay Sarge, but...
No, I don't think it was Sarge. I think it was someone else, but...
Was it Reese?
Could be. But I'm sure that's...
I'd have to go back and have a look for that one, but... Yeah, I remember it happening.
Rob's made it back to the pits. He's now going to be plummeting down. Unfortunately, I think that's, to all intents and purposes... he's got a 5-second penalty as well on top of that.
Oh, this race is going from bad to worse.
5-second penalty, tyres, wing change, popped in to use the loo, and he's off. So yeah, he's ended up down in 12th. He's going to be safe from Gake Matthew because something obviously has happened back there by the looks of it. As he was a long way behind, considering we've not long ago had a safety car. So back up the front,
yeah,
Ghost Rider and Baldy and Kaiser Soze are still all right on top of each other. Da Convertible has slipped to 4th.
Yeah, I wonder if that's tyre wear causing that issue now. Let's have a look.
Yeah, I mean,
it's got to be 16. Wow.
They are going to be screaming at this point.
Ghost Rider's just got past Baldy. Has he done it in the right place, though? Because he could have potentially handed him the DRS here.
And he's coming back.
I think Ghost Rider's just held him, though, but again, Baldy's going to have the DRS.
It looked like he backed out of that tactically to me.
I remember Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen doing that, playing the DRS game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's going round the outside. Can he hold it on track? Yes, he did. Jackster unfortunately just picked up a pit lane speeding penalty. So we've suddenly got a bunch of guys in the pits. So Era Voice is in for softs. Da Convertible is also in for softs. They're on top of each other. Jackster serving a 5-second. I think. He just vanished out of his pit box on my screen, but never mind. Suddenly we've got lots of penalties happening as well.
Yeah,
these are going to come into play soon.
Let's have a cap on the penalties. 3 seconds for Neil.
Kaiser Soze going around the outside of Ghost Rider in the hairpin.
That's brave. 5 for Boothie, 6 for Calvin, 9 for Da Convertible because he's just got another 3. Jackster's on 5, Rob Smith on 3, Geke's on 3. And quietly, Gav's sneaking back up there. He's now in 10th.
Must be other people getting it wrong, surely.
Oh, people have been pitting, that's why.
Yeah, of
and
course.
we know Rob Smith got it wrong slightly. So yeah, that's probably explains it. I mean, we can't give Gav any credit, surely.
I think we're trying quite hard not to. Pretty good job of it as well. So back at the front, suddenly Kaiser Soze dropped out of DRS again. He was making, like I say, he'd made a really bold move to try to go around the outside of Ghost Rider at that hairpin, nearly pulled it off, but then unfortunately into that right-left chicane, he went deep and lost a big chunk of time, and he's now fallen way out of the DRS window, and he's fallen into Neil's clutches. He's all over the back of Gene Genie's all over the back of Neil.
2 teammates for the evening having a bit of a battle.
They are. I mean, that's got to be said. But
Ghost Rider's got past Baldy again. That's a ding dong that's going to be going on for the next.
I mean, they're on the same tyres. They seem to be very similar pace to one another. Kaiser Soze has pulled himself back again, so they've lost a second to him, and he's got back to them again.
Oops. I think I might have cursed Gav. Is in the pit lane. Is
he getting out of his car to come and find you to give you a punch in the teeth?
He's just had a front wing change. I think I may have commentator cursed him.
He's going to give you a dry slap later. So, Baldy's going around the outside of Ghost Rider into the final corner. Now we'll see whether that works out tactically down this straight. How are we...
If we change
Baldy's got loads of ERS. Baldy's on 80% ERS and Ghost Rider's down to 10.
If we change Ghost Rider into a Red Bull, then we've literally got Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen.
Somehow he's still managed to get back past again, though. Although he's got... Look at the exit Baldy just got.
That was one hell of an exit.
Whoa, good work. And that was where the ERS disadvantage counted against him.
Oh, as Connor would say, that was a dirty illegal exit.
And suddenly, Kaiser Soze is pressuring Ghost Rider. Oh, what's happened there? Suddenly, Baldy suddenly seemed to be kind of going nowhere.
I can't honestly call it between these three. Who's going to take the win?
I can barely look. I'm just waiting for something to go horribly wrong. But at the moment, has to be said, these guys are racing really, really quite beautifully. It's really, really clean, really respectful.
It really is. It's a great show of what we can do.
I mean, this has literally been a race-long battle between these three.
It's a great advert for MRC, though, showing how well they can actually race.
Ghost Rider's rear light is flashing so much of the time. It's going to be really giving encouragement to Kaiser Soze to make that move. He's flashing again now down this down the back straight. Kaiser
Soze is not much better off. He's only got 16%.
Well, that's
it's
true.
Baldy that's laughing out front with his 70-odd%.
Yeah, he could drive away at the moment if he wanted to, if he knew that.
And
now Kaiser Soze's flashing just as much now.
The ERS is actually more powerful than the DRS on this game, strangely enough.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people tactically try and keep as much ERS as they can.
Yeah, that was another thing I was struggling with at this track, to be honest with you. I was finding the deployment just wouldn't come back. It's sort of not got an awful lot of regular braking zones, I guess, so it's quite hard to keep the charge up.
Yeah, there's only 3 or 4 decent ones, and we've got a virtual safety car. Why have we got that?
That's a good question. Who's missing some bits?
Gibbons in the pit, but he's not missing a wing or anything. Let's go through. Gav is missing a front wing again.
Gav, yeah.
Not a good advert, you, Gavin.
I think he's got relations that own a company that build front wings for Alfa Romeo.
I think he needs to invest in them.
Well, that's what I mean. The share price is going up and up and up at the moment. There's an awful lot of purchase orders coming through from Alfa Romeo right now.
Yeah, the yearly budget's just gone out the window. That's why Vasseur's leaving.
Well, yeah, he just got fed up at the sight of. It doesn't matter what he says to Gav, he just doesn't listen. So he's just called it a day and walked out the door.
So basically, you said he got fed up at the sight of Gav.
Yeah, pretty much. He said he said something about like it's bad enough that I have to live in Switzerland. I'm not taking any more of these weird double entendres that you keep throwing at me, and you keep breaking all my front wings, and I'm out.
Fair play. I kind of don't blame him.
So we're back underway again. We've just gone green. Those 3 at the front are still those 3 at the front, and they're still equidistant from each other. Rob is slowly zeroing in a little bit. He's
slowly getting his rope out and just pulling it in slightly.
He's got significantly older tyres than those guys, but
and
behind him
looks like he's lost it coming out of turn 2.
That's not going to trigger a safety car, though, is it? I don't think, because the pack is quite a long way away.
It's quite a long way away, and we're quite late into the race.
So you know what I was saying about like losing a car per lap? We're still doing quite a good job. We're now down to what, 13 runners?
That's 7 out. That's about a car every 3 laps at the moment.
Yeah, so we've lost about, what's that, 35% of the field so far?
Just proves how horrible this track is.
It's a very punishing track when things go wrong, yeah.
One slight mistake, that's it, it's race over.
Yeah.
There is no saving it after that. Rob's dropping back a little bit.
Yeah, he suddenly lost 1.3 seconds.
And these front three are still driving around like the professional esports drivers.
Yeah, like you say, I think they've got a piece of string attached to them because they seem to be sort of just nose to tail all the time, constantly. I think I get a feeling that Kaiser Soze is getting a little bit frustrated because every time he seems to get near Ghost Rider and get an opportunity, he can't quite make it work. And with 3 laps to go, including the one that we're on,
there's no ERS at all, and I know.
No, he's not.
The dirty air on this track is horrible.
Baldy has still got 78% ERS.
Let's go have a quick look at what's happening further back. So we've got Neil crawling all over the gearbox of Calvin, who's got no front wing. They've just had a bit of a bumping of wheels. Neil's let him go, nobody's spun, so that's all good at the moment. And Rob Smith's closing in quickly on the back of Boothie, trying to recover some points from his earlier issue. And 8th down are all on the same penalties. So it's just Calvin on 6, Da Convertible on 12.
Baldy and Ghost Rider are fighting yet again.
Let's go have a quick look at them.
Oh, it's turning into a 3-way battle, but Baldy can just press that ERS button if he wants to and just dump it. Now he's realised he's got loads of ERS left. He's just used like 25% of his ERS in the last few corners.
I think he's been watching the esports guys because they barely touch it till the last couple of laps.
Yeah, I mean it's a good way to kind of protect yourself when you are in those last few laps and the tyres are getting old, especially if everyone else around you has used their ERS. Not that you know that unless you're listening to this fantastic commentary stream.
It's amazing. I mean, a lot of drivers do listen to it.
I find it so distracting. I can't do it.
I used to do it.
Oh, we have another move happening. We've got a move happening.
Oh, Ghost Rider's trying to go around the outside. Can he make it work? I think he's going to make that stick.
I don't know. He's offline for the next corner, though, isn't he?
It's tight. He's ahead.
But he's now got the issue of having 8% ERS with Baldy behind him on 60.
Yeah, he's flashing away like crazy. Like something that...
I was about to say this is a hard place to make it work, and he just made it. Oh, he's run off. He's run off the track.
Oh, he's lost it.
He's lost it. Oh, that's going to suck big time. And now the conservative, gently catchy monkey tortoise against the hair of Baldy could well steal this podium if he can get a good run out of this corner. No, he's not going to do it.
I don't think Rob will do anything crazy because he knows he takes 4th place drop at the end.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
But we just started the final lap and Kaiser Soze has finally got the lead of the race and lost it!
Oh no! And so's Ghost Rider. And now Baldy's back in the lead again. Rob is about to win this race, isn't he? If Rob decides he wants to, Rob can now drive past this damaged car. Or he may just be polite enough to say, do you know what? This isn't my tier. Bit of contact. Rob's through. Rob is winning this race. Rob has decided that actually instead of being polite,
he woke up and chose violence.
Yes, he did.
He wants the on-track victory.
Let's look at the 3 behind, because that's more important in the great scheme of things, isn't it?
I mean, the 3 behind are going to be the 3 podiums.
Yeah, Kaiser Soze is unfortunately out of that battle, but Ghost Rider is currently winning.
Baldy's just gone mega wide at that chicane. That's not going to help him at all.
Well, he's carrying quite bad wing damage, isn't he?
But Ghost Rider's got no ERS, which ain't going to help him either.
But no, you've still... this corner here, you need the front wing, as he's just proven. Oh, he's got to be careful he doesn't pick up any penalties as well.
I think Ghost Rider's just got back in DRS, which will help him. Baldy's got DRS as well. Kaiser Soze is closing in a little bit, but it's not going to be fast enough.
Now, what will be interesting is, unfortunately, this may be a race decided on penalties, because I'm not sure what happened between those leaders.
The turn one was Kaiser Soze lost it and collected whoever else got held up, because we had that on stream.
Okay.
It didn't look anything cynical from what we could see on the stream.
Well, let's hope not. But of course, anything that anybody's not happy about, please do not mention it in the Discord. Do not shout about it. Just report it to your local friendly neighbourhood stewards.
Yep, and it should be dealt with. Because as we say, all results are provisional until stewards' inquiries have been formulated. There we go, Genie takes the win on track, but obviously we'll take a 4-place grid drop because he's tier 2. So as it currently stands, it'll be Ghost Rider, Baldy and Kaiser Soze taking the podium.
I don't know whether you thought the same thing, but I got the impression that Rob was trying to do everything he could not to win, and then was kind of left in a position where it's like, well, I haven't really got any choice but to just go on now because everyone else has fallen off the track or damaged.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, there's a gap, I'll go for it. Okay.
Well, it was he looked like he was trying really hard to stay behind, and then he was just like, oh, this is just too compromised. This, because at the end of the day, as a reserve, even if you're an upper tier reserve who's going to take a penalty, you still want to get the points for that team that you're racing for. So if he'd dawdled there behind, it could have cost his team points, couldn't it?
Could have done, yeah. I mean, as he's taken first, he's going to end up becoming 5th.
Yes.
Whereas if he was second, he'd be 6th. So he's got more points for the team at least.
Exactly.
Even if it won't go on his actual tally of wins when the results come out, he could still
indeed
sit there and say, well, I won it on track. And he got driver of the day to boot. Not a bad day's work for him.
Well, he's had a very clean race from what I was able to see.
He usually is very clean. That's why we used to call him Mr. Clean. Very rare we get any reports against Rob.
Oh, I don't know. He started blotting his copybook, didn't he? We couldn't keep on calling him that. He suddenly started letting us down, all left, right, and centre. Penalties all over the place.
Yeah, he does get a lot of on-track penalties now, which is why we don't call him Mr. Clean anymore. But he don't get stewarding penalties.
No.
He is still one of the cleanest racers you can come up against.
Sherwin Andrews is giving Baldy some congratulations there in the chat, I see.
Konnichiwa Beach.
Yeah.
His teammate, who unfortunately couldn't race, I believe, due to load shedding.
And Connor says that you've cursed Gav so badly, he's last again.
Yeah, that was earlier when I kind of realised it was in the pits with no front wing.
I think you could probably have said that about several points in that race where you said something about Gavin and he was suddenly without a front wing. So I don't think you get away with it just being on one occasion.
Hey,
Neil,
I wasn't the only one.
I was just looking at the fastest laps. Look how much quicker Neil is than anybody else.
1:32.8, and everybody else is in mid-33s.
Yeah. So don't know whether he pitted late for some softs or something and did a soft run on light fuel load, but yeah, that's an impressive difference, isn't it? It's got to be said.
Sometimes he can be really, really quick. He just doesn't seem to have much luck when it comes to the races.
Yeah.
He put it on pole so many times last season.
Yeah, well, he's looking at picking up a couple of points from today at least. Unfortunately, picked up 2 3-second penalties by the looks of things, which obviously has pushed him. Actually, no, those haven't cost him anything.
No, because the amount of people down there that have got them penalties. Yeah. But there we go. That's tier 3 done for another week, and that our first time in comms together as well.
Yeah, that was fun.
I do quite like commentating tier 3. It's always quite a fun one to do.
Yeah, and again, just well done to those 3 guys racing at the front for so long, for so much of the race. That was there was some really impressive stuff happening. Unfortunately, ended with some tangling, but it's a real shame that happened because everything else that you guys did was pretty phenomenal tonight.
Yep. I hear esports are calling they want to sign you up because that is that sort of standard of racing when you can race that close for that long.
Yeah, that was impressive. Good stuff.
There we go. So thank you everybody for watching. Thank you, Martin, obviously for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. If you wanted to watch Tier 4, it will start in approximately 35 minutes. But there we go, that's it from us. So good night, everyone.
Cheers, then.